Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about a few different topics. First, we're going to talk about how to categorize your leads and prospects. And that way you communicate to them and spend time and energy on the proper people and the proper leads. And second, we're going to be talking about the DISC profile and how that can help you communicate to anybody in your life, personal, business, but especially your clients. You want to know how to handle and treat your clients the best way. That way they can trust and like you, because clients do business with people that they like, know, and trust. So the DISC personality test or the DISC profile will kind of help you figure out not only what their personality type is, but how to speak to that personality type. So we live by the golden rule, sometimes you treat people how you want to be treated, but the platinum rule is you treat people how they want to be treated. So we're going to go over the DISC personality or profile today. But first, let's start with categorizing your leads and prospects. So I like to categorize my leads and prospects on an A, B, and C level. An A prospect, client, potential client, lead, whatever you want to call it. That is somebody that is looking to do business right now and 60 days out. They are looking to get pre-approved rather quickly. They're looking to sign a listing agreement rather quickly. Those are people that I want to follow up with on an almost daily basis. So that is somebody that has expressed interest to me and is ready to go, has their money, they're ready, willing, and able. They've got money saved up, they've got the credit, they just need to pull the trigger and apply. So that is someone that I'm going to be following up very heavily with and kind of investing all of my energy into that client. Can you have more than one client that looks like that? Yes. So then you got to know how to focus your energy on more than one person. But in the beginning, it's usually 1 to 2 clients at a time. A B client is somebody that, or sorry, a B, I keep saying client, a B prospect or lead is someone that is looking to do business in the next 3 to 6 months. So they are not now business, but they are sometime in the next 6 months. So you've got to figure out how to communicate effectively to those people so that they can make sure that you stay in the picture and that they come back to you when they're finally ready. This could be somebody that's waiting for their lease to come due. It could be somebody that's waiting for children to move out before they start selling, or they're decluttering, or they've got a few projects on their home that they're still waiting to wrap up before they want to sign a listing agreement. So those are the type of people that you're going to find that are B potential prospects or potential clients or prospects or leads. Those types of people, I like to focus my energy on following up with them every 2 weeks in the first month and a half. And then after that, every month or maybe every 3 to 4 weeks. And then depending on when they tell me that they're finally going to be ready, I follow up maybe a month and a half before that. So let's say, I've got a buyer that wants to finally start buying in December. I will start following up with them heavily in November because I know that their time is coming due and I need to make sure that I'm going to be the person in front of them. Now, you do follow up once every month because, their timeframes can change. Their motivation can change. So you've got to just know how to have that systematic lead. Now, in order for you, or systematic follow-up, sorry. Now, in order for you to keep track of all these leads that are coming in, you've got to have a sales pipeline spreadsheet. You've got to have some sort of system that you have set up for yourself that's going to allow you to know, all right, I need to follow up with this person today. I need to follow up with that person today. Put it on your calendar, put it as a reminder, something, but make sure it's a system that you set up for yourself that will, allow you to remember when the time comes that you need to follow up with these leads. So a C client is a client that is looking for that needle in the haystack deal, that unicorn property, that person that's not really motivated, doesn't have to sell their home, but wants to see what they can get for that home. That's that person that's not really all that serious, but maybe in the future, just right now, they don't have a ton of motivation and they don't have a time frame. They don't have anywhere to go and they don't really need to sell or they don't really need to buy. So those types of clients, I don't spend a ton of energy on them just because they're not now business. I need to look for the next now business. I need to look for the next A prospect or lead, and I need to look for more B prospects to fill my pipeline with. Which leads me into motivation and time frame. You guys have heard me talk about motivation. You've heard me talk about time. These two things are very critical to ask on any type of listing appointment or buyer consultation. Why are you moving, or why are you buying a house? And by when do you need to do it? These two things allow you to know how to classify your client or potential clients and leads and prospects as A, B, or C. That way it helps you spend your energy where you need to spend it, instead of spending it on clients that want, a house and probably either don't have the down payment for it, don't have the credit yet for it, whatever the case is, or are looking for, an example of a C client is somebody that's looking in one specific neighborhood, and that neighborhood properties never come up for sale. So, that client, you need to also dig deep. So you need to ask lots of questions. Is there any other area or any other neighborhood that you're open to? Nope, have to have this one specific neighborhood. Okay, well, what I can do is I can set you up on a drip camp or an auto search, to where anytime something comes up in this neighborhood, you and I will get alerted firsthand, and and then we can take it from there. You can also farm these neighborhoods, send out letters, door knock, whatever you can do, but I wouldn't spend too much time if you know that they have not gotten pre-approved. They're not looking to get pre-approved unless a property comes up, and you don't really know if they have a down payment. So those are classified as C clients for me. And what we need to do is, when we know that this is an A, B, or C client, we need to know what type of drips we need to set them on, how often we need to follow up with them. A C client may get followed up with every quarter, could be twice a quarter. Just really depends on their motivation and their time frame. And it really all depends on what they're looking to do, what they're looking to get. One thing I can tell you is you cannot talk somebody into selling their house, and you cannot talk somebody into buying a house, and you cannot force someone to do it. No matter how much you want them to, they will not do it until they are ready. Logic makes you think, but emotion makes you act. So until they get to that point where they're like, you know what, I gotta go, I gotta do this, that's when they're gonna call you, as long as you stay in front of them and you constantly are following up. And that's what we'll talk about next week, is how to have a follow-up campaign and how to have the best campaign. That way you're converting leads at a higher rate. So A, B, and C clients. And those are the different ways that I spend my energy on clients. So when I get a client that's not all that serious, I'll spend my energy when I need to, but they are not top priority. Top priority are the A clients. And then when I do my daily lead follow-up, it's the B clients and sometimes the C clients that I'm following up with. Just depends on the day, on the month, whatever it is. So we're going to switch over to the DISC profile. The DISC profile allows us to know, based on personality traits, how to speak to somebody. Are you a D, an I, an S, or a C personality type? Let me share my screen. All right, we're going to learn a little bit about DISC profile. So the reason why you want to learn more about the DISC profile is not just for talking to clients, but if you ever are going to hire in the future, hire admin staff, hire agents to work for your team, you're going to want to know this for interview purposes, because you can spot a DISC profile a mile away, as long as you know what you're looking for. This will help you manage you and others' time, communicate, motivate, manage, and lead, create that ideal culture at work, and your volunteer organization and home. So The DISC profile is broken up into D, I, S, and C. Dominant for D, influential for I, steady for S, and compliant for C. Now, if you break these down, we'll go into a little bit more detail for each one. Let's start with D. So D is dominant. Dominant type of personalities are very direct. They're decisive, not indecisive, but decisive. They know what they want. They're going to go after it. They're doers. So you tell them, hey, in order for you to close 20 transactions this year, this is what you got to do. And they go and they do it. And they don't question it. And they don't wonder why or how they're going to get there. They just go out and do it. They are domineering and they're demanding. And that is a D personality. A D is they are power people. They are people that know their worth. They know what they bring to the table. They've got confidence. And those are D personalities, or 15 to 20% of the population. Their goal is to win and to control. Oftentimes they're described as controlling, driving, dominant, and results oriented. They want results. They don't care how they get there. They just want to get there. Their main question, what's the bottom line? Tell me, what is my bottom line? What they fear the most is being taken advantage of and having their time wasted, because time is money. Their primary emotion is they're quick to emotion. So sometimes they can get quickly sad, quickly angry, quickly happy, quickly whatever. Their general characteristics are they are direct and decisive. They've got high ego strength. They're problem solvers. They're risk takers. They're self-starters. So in this business of real estate, you're going to find about 80 to 85% are high D personalities. So you've got to know how to deal with these types of personalities, especially when you're on the other end of a transaction. If you are the listing agent, they are the buyers. If you're the buyer's agent, you've got a listing agent as a D personality. You got to know how to deal with these types of people. What value do they bring to the team? They're bottom line organizers. They place high value on time. So they don't want to waste time. They know that their time is allotted into certain compartments and they just want to get those things done. That way they can finish and they get the results done. They challenge the status quo and they're innovative. Their possible weaknesses are oversteps. They overstep authority. They're argumentative sometimes, most of the time. They dislike routine. So although they, waste no time or, place high value on time, they don't like routine. So they like constant change. Attempts too much at once. So multitaskers, people that maybe have ADHD that, will start one thing, not finish it, go to the next thing, not finish it, next thing, not finish it. I relate so highly to this. Identifying a D tends to talk fast with more monotones and less inflection in their voice. They come on strong, applying pressure early in a relationship. They may interrupt you or take calls while you are talking. We will want options from which to make a decision. We'll take control of a situation, and they're not afraid to take risks. Expectations, their business-like attitude. They make efficient use of their time, present your services in terms of how it will solve their problems, and they provide the probabilities associated with a given risk. Sorry for the Trump. I didn't make this. So anyway, high D personality, yes. Somebody like a Trump, someone that is very bottom line, very power oriented. And now we're going to switch to the I personality types. They are inspirational, they are interactive, they're interesting, they're impulsive, they're irritating at times. Again, I didn't make this. High I's are party people. They want to have fun, they're bubbly, they're the ones that are outgoing, the center of attention. They're, those are the types of people. They influence and persuade. They're often described as flamboyant, effervescent, I don't know what that word means, dynamic. They're people persons, and they're schmoozers. Their main question, who, and what they fear the most is rejection. And their primary emotion is optimism. Their general characteristics, they're enthusiastic, they're trusting, optimistic, persuasive, talkative, impulsive, and emotional. The value that they bring to a team is they're creative problem solvers. They are great encouragers. They motivate others to achieve. Their positive sense of humor. Their weakness is they are more concerned with popularity than tangible results. They have an inattentiveness to detail, gestures and facial expressions, tends to listen only when it's convenient. In ways to identify an I, they tend to talk faster with lots of emotion and inflection in their voice. They're friendly and people-oriented. Will probably have photos, trophies, and awards on their walls. We'll be glad to see you when you arrive. So they're huggers, and they get so excited. They're enthusiastic and receptive, will interrupt and digress occasionally, will generally be well-dressed and in the latest fashion. Their expectations, you to be present in the conversation and not watching the clock, to hear what you think and feel about things. They want to know who they are dealing with, and that you support them and provide them positive feedback. They can be emotional. High I's, there you go. Another high I is Kim Kardashian. So these are people that, they love to like schmooze the room. They love to be the center of attention. Moving on to the next, S is for steady. So these are stable, supportive, and sincere people. They can be a little slow and they are sensitive. So high S is, they are the peace people. They are about 35 to 40% of the population. Their goal is to be steady and supportive. And they're often described as soothing, steadying, a good listener, process-oriented. You notice how I kind of slowed down when I came to this, because this is how an S personality type is. Their main question is why. What they fear most: change and loss of security. So they like very little change. Their primary emotion is they hide emotions. General characteristics: they're good listeners, they're team players, possessive, they're steady, predictable, understanding, and friendly. The value that they bring to a team: they're reliable and dependable. They're loyal team workers, compliant towards authority, good listeners, patient and empathetic, good at reconciling conflicts. Possible weaknesses: they resist change, take a long time to adjust to change, they hold a grudge, they're sensitive to criticism, difficulty establishing priorities. So these are people you kind of just want to watch your words with, especially if you are a D personality type. You definitely have to take a step back. I only know from experience, you got to take a step back and really kind of figure out how to convey your message in the best way possible when it comes to an S personality type, because they can get offended really, really quickly. Identifying an S, they tend to talk slower with lots of emotion, usually have photos on the wall of different people. They may appear easygoing, but they are very security conscious and resistant to change. They're sincere, they're amiable, and relationship oriented. They may initially appear shy. Their expectations is you take time to develop a relationship, you progress to be slow but deliberate, and you to be able to explain why a solution is the best solution. So a high S, I'm not too sure who this is, but what I can tell you is the high S personality types, they are great when it comes to hiring. They're great as admin people because they love to please and they love to care about people. They truly care about people, especially the people that are closest to them. These are my clients that are moms, and they love their kids, and their kids come first, their kids' schedule come first. They do a lot of things around holidays. They entertain with their families. So they want a space that invites that type of entertainment. Like they love to be around family. And so those are the types of clients that are S. And then we're going to move on to C, which is a compliant type of personality. They are cautious, they're careful and consensuous. They're calculating and condescending. These are perfectionists. They are about 15 to 20% of the population. They avoid conflict and comply. They're conscientious, they're analytical, they're calculating, and they're task oriented, very detail oriented as well. Their main question is how. If you want me to do this, how do I get to this, and why do I get to this? Like everything is just like how and why, and they've got to figure it out before they actually deep dive in there. Whereas a D personality type is not going to ask any questions, and they're just going to do it. So what they fear most is criticism. Their primary emotion is fear. General characteristics: they are accurate, analytical, conscientious, careful, fact finders. They're precise, they have high standards, and they're systematic. So this is another trait that you are going to look for when it comes to an admin, is somebody that is high on the S scale, but also high on the C scale, because they've got that brain that's wired to build out your systems for you. The value to team: their perspective, their anchor of reality, conscientious and even-tempered. They're thorough in all their activities. They define situations. They gather, criticize, and test information. So they love that. They love to slow down and do all of that. Possible weakness: they need clear-cut boundaries for actions and relationships. They're bound by procedures and methods. They get bogged down into detail. Whereas a D personality, they don't care about anything that has to do with the detail. They just want to go. They prefer not to verbalize feelings and will give in rather than argue. Identifying a C: they tend to talk slower with little emotion, will usually have a neat and organized desk. I do not at the moment. Will read all material given to them. I do not. Will be prepared for every meeting, is both process and detail oriented, is usually restrained, will more than likely dress conservatively. Their expectations are you to present all facts. That you will give them time to consider options before making a decision. This is super important when it comes to a client that is high C. You cannot force a client that is high C to make a decision right now. They're going to feel rushed and pressured, and they're not going to want to do anything with you or do any business with you, and they're not going to trust you or like you. So say bye-bye to that client if you are trying to pressure them or get them to do something right now. They want to make sure that you will make it right, and if anything goes wrong. So I actually just had a client that we did have to make it right for him, and he spoke highly of me afterwards. He's like, you had so much integrity. He was a high C client. He had so much integrity. I'm so proud that you took that, and made it better. Like, those are the types of clients that will really value you as not just a person, but a professional, and will refer you business because you made it right. So high C personality type is anybody that is an engineer, a CPA, an analyst, a scientist, all of those types of anybody in the medical field. Those are very high detailed clients. So if the client needs you to sit down with them for an hour to go over numbers, you've got to sit down with them for an hour and go over numbers. Now, when it comes to mortgage numbers, you're going to want to get them with the lender. Let the lender sit down and go over the numbers with them. When it comes to title work, let them go over it with title. You can also be there just to facilitate, because they want to make sure that you are there and you're holding their hand. Working with different personality types, how to work together. Okay, so then that's pretty much it. So those are the ways to categorize your potential leads and know how to communicate and when to communicate with them. When it's an A client or A lead, B lead, or C lead. And then when it comes to DISC profiling, how to profile a client, potential client, or potential hire if you're looking to hire for your team. And in order for you to know how to spot these types of personality tests or personality profiles, you've got to also take the test yourself so that you know what you are. You read the description, you go into detail. I know it's a little hard for PIDs, but take the test. There's a Tony Robbins. If you Google Tony Robbins DISC profile, it'll come up. There's also other websites that take you to DISC profile tests, and they're free. So you take the test, it shows you what you are, and then now you can spot certain things within your personality so that you know what you are, and you can also spot other people and how they are. Hope this helps. I'll see you guys next week.